Good morning, everyone. It is a Friday, January 30th, 2026, and I'm coming to you live from the Yarn Garden in Charlotte, Michigan. Welcome to my little corner of the world. I am so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope that the sun is shining wherever you are, at least for the moment here in mid-Michigan. The sun is shining and there's a beautiful blue sky out there, making all of our snow very sparkly, very Edward-like, if you know what I mean. Good morning, Christina. You're our first commenter. Good morning, good morning. Hello, Jillian. Good morning. Hi, Gail. And Ginny, good morning. Thank you. Hi, Shiloh. Good morning, good morning. So, we have a big show today. I feel like that's two big shows right in a row. How exciting. Good morning, guys. If you didn't get a chance to watch Feature Friday from last week, I encourage you to go do it. My friend Ray Jane Courtwright came in and asked me, she interviewed me, asked me 23 questions? Random questions. Some were knitting related or crochet yarn fiber related. Some were not. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that Feature Friday, it was last week's Feature Friday, make sure you go check it out. Ray Jane did an amazing job, and I had a lot of fun. So much fun answering those questions. It is the second half of the video, so if you want to scroll through, you can see when Ray Jane comes on and you can check things out. Good morning. Hi, Adair. Hello, Janelle. Hi, Karen. Glad to see you got your meeting scheduled so you could join us today. Good morning, Beth. Hello, other Karen. Karen Yance. Good morning. Hello, Linda. So we're gonna talk about Finished Object February bingo today. So I have the bingo card right here. Adair, I can't freeze it, and show it too long because I don't want you to screenshot it and see if you could, scroll in and see the squares. So I'm not going to show it off too closely. But I do have the finished board here, and I have the rules. We're going to go over that. Of course, we're going to talk about what Finished Object February bingo is. If you are not aware of what that is, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's currently on my needles, of course, which is how we always kind of start out Feature Friday. But then I also have a basket full of my whips that we're going to take a look at. That's one of my favorite parts of Finished Object February. Excuse me. I've got a frog in my throat. Good morning. Good morning, Carolyn, and good morning, Sunny. Excuse me. Goodness. I actually love to go through my whip pile and get them all organized and make a plan for how to tackle those. So one of the engagement posts that I always put up for Finished Object February is I ask you to share your whip pile. Now, this is a judgment-free zone. No one is here to judge how many whips you've got, whether they're knit, crochet, how far they are, whether you have a big pile of things that just need to be blocked. Jan, we're talking to you. Or a pile of things with ends that need to be woven in, or you have a million things literally cast on and first row done, or your crochet chain and you decided you were bored with that chain already. No judgment. There's no judgment here. We love to see other people's piles of things. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've got that frog in there. So I am going to go through my whip pile today. We're going to take a look at those, at what I've got, what I hope to accomplish during the month of February. And I'm going to put that post out probably this weekend. Of course, once February actually gets underway, maybe next week, early next week, I'll put that post out and ask you to share your whip pile with us as well. Let's see. Good morning, Linda. Pat says, good morning from Hamburg. I can share the whip pile that is just near my kitchen table. Hello, Alex. She says, good morning, listening while working. Might as well have 27 tabs open and know where the sound is coming from. Yeah, I understand. Marsha's watching from Florida. Becky is watching from an ice storm survivor in Mississippi. Thank goodness for my knitting. Right? Is MS Mississippi? Or is that Missouri? I don't know. I'm sorry. I am terrible with geography and postal abbreviations. Somewhere not here. Jillian says, I have more whips than I can finish in February. You know what, Jillian, you are not alone. There are so many makers, crafters that are in that same boat. But what's good about going through your whip pile is you can get it organized and you can see, okay, here's my list of whips. Here's what I really want to finish for February. I still love this. Or you can go through and say, you know what was I thinking? I am never, excuse me, I am never going to finish this. Thank you guys. Shiloh, thank you. Missouri is M-O, which doesn't make any sense, but okay. You couldn't have M-I because Michigan has it. It's Mississippi. Thank you, Melinda and Julie. Appreciate it. So it allows you to go through and just get them organized and decide if you still love it, then you can make a plan for it. Or, nope, I hate this. I never want to make it. I'm never going to finish it. I hate this yarn. So you might be able to frog that project. So I understand, Jillian, you are not alone. Believe me, you are not alone. I am somewhat of an oddball, I think, in the wider crafting world, in that I don't usually have a ton of whips. Now I do, of course, I have a basket full here that we're going to look at. And I do now intentionally let some accumulate throughout the year so that I have the ability to participate in Finished Object February. But as a general rule, I don't tend to have a lot of whips because I'm knitting and crocheting for samples here for the shop. So if they're not finished, you don't get the full effect. You're maybe not as inspired to buy the yarn and create that thing yourself. So I'm kind of a forced product knitter. In fact, many of the things that you're going to see today are whips, simply because they are personal projects of mine that don't have any bearing on sales at the Yarn Garden. So you're going to notice that many of the whips are not actually Yarn Garden related at all. So that's why they're still whips. So that's the plan. So let's go through first and I'll talk about what's currently on my needles. And what I mean by that, these are the things that I have touched in the last week or so, we'll say, that I have consistently worked on already. Jason, can you do me a favor? Over by the Payuma cashmere, there's the orange shawl that I have started. It's on display. Can you bring that over for me? I forgot to grab it before the video started. Thank you. Let's see. Shiloh says I have one that will be 15 years old this year. If I only finish that in February, I'll be content. I love it. Mindy says I have a project to frog. It might be all I can accomplish this month due to my shoulder surgery. You know what, Mindy? You can save the Finished Object February bingo card. Yes, that. Thank you. And you could play in March. You wouldn't qualify for any prizes, but you could still get the satisfaction of creating and completing a bingo card. And actually, you know what? Maybe you could get prizes. We'll have a conversation. We can talk about it. Due to extenuating circumstances, you actually weren't able to crochet and finish projects. So we can talk. Okay. So what have I been working on? I have been working on my February sock, actually. So I have set a goal for 2026 that I'm going to knit a sock a month. I finished January's, so let me show that off right now. Here is January's sock. This is an adventure sock for Miss Natalie. So January's sock is complete, and I have a head start here on February's sock. And I wanted to get February's underway ASAP because I have some plays to sit through this weekend. Miss Nat is in SpongeBob the Musical, so I'm excited to go and watch her. But we have 3 performances that we get to go watch, and I love to knit socks while I'm watching. So I want to make sure I was past the ribbing and had a good amount started so that I could work on that during Natalie's performances. So that's sock number 1. This is January's sock. Here is sock number 2 that will get finished in February, and that will earn me at least 1 bingo square. And I want to take a minute Most of the time, as you guys probably know, I don't care at all if socks match. I just, especially with self-striping yarn like this, I, finish and Kitchener off the toe and I cast down the second sock immediately. I don't fussy piece or care about whether the stripes match up or not. But with this yarn, I liked how I was able to make it work so that the heel flap was the neon, and then it ended up that the toe ended up with a little bit of neon also. I also like the fact that this has, like, the neon sections are inverse of each other. So like this is that bright neon orange and then yellow, and then here we've got that neon yellow and then the bright orange. So for sock number 2 for Nat, I decided, while they're not going to be identical twins, I would try to make them as fraternal as I could. So I started the second sock in the opposite section of the first. So you guys can see now on the fluorescent section, see how they're inverse? So now the socks will appear to match, but the colors are going to be flip-flopped. So I did spend a little bit of time, not much because it's not worth it to me, but I did spend a little bit of time fussy pulling through the yarn to, find a pair, or find the start of the next section so that they could match-ish. They could be fraternal twins, just like her and her sister. Let's see, Melinda says, I have 7 projects, one of which needs to be frogged and restarted. Excellent, that's a good number. Thank you, Beth. The yarn is, of course, because I'm using this color, I don't have the color anymore, but there are other neon versions. It is the Super Socks, let me find my tag here. Super Socks color for Fash, F-A-C-H, when you look up on our website. This particular one is called Night Fever, but you'll be able to see the other colorways if you like that neon fluorescent bit in there. That is definitely, there's still colors available in that project. Linda is offering to let Melinda borrow 5 to 10 whips if she wanted to have a higher start count. How generous of you, Linda. I love that. Okay, let me pull out the other object that I have been working on. Excuse me. So I've been cruising along on the Literally scarf. The name of the scarf is Literally, just Literally. Designer is Martina Bem, who is a genius with mathematics and knit fabric and how to manipulate both of those to create the coolest objects. So this is the scarf. This is done out of Noro's newest yarn that we carry called Coma, K-O-M-A, Coma. And it is going to use 1 ball. And I'm pretty proud of how far along I am on that already. But look at how it is taking advantage and using the self-striping nature of Noro and really showing it off. I love it. I love it. And it's actually a pretty simple knit. It is knits and purls. It is all knitting. There's 1 purl stitch at the very beginning of every row. That's it. And then you've got increasing and decreasing at some markers. That's it. It's a 2-row repeat. And every so often, you end up casting on and binding off. So it's interesting because you don't get bored, because you're just, getting into the groove, and then you got to stop and bind off and cast on and then start again. So it's great. I love it. So my Literally scarf is going to get me at least 2 squares. Well, only 2 squares, but it is going to garner me 2 squares on my bingo card, because I will have this finished by the time I get to, by the time we get February started. Oh, thank you, Jason. All right, what else do we have to talk about? Before we get into all of our actually bingo related items, I do have a couple things I want to show off. First, I know it's not quite February yet. February starts on Sunday. February 1st is on Sunday. But I do have the February 2026 color of the month from La Jolla, and I felt like that needed to be shared. So if you wanted to add that to your stash, of course, you are more than welcome to. Make sure you are looking for, if you're going to shop the website, look for the La Jolla color of the month. And then this is February 26th. February 26th. So it's got beautiful brights, pinks, purples, and I love that it has this little bit of kind of a steel teal blue, kind of a, like, steel blue is kind of a good option, kind of a glacier blue. It's really beautiful. And then there's reds and pinks and purples. Very fitting for the month of February. Yes, isn't it beautiful, Oriana and Kathy? Whoop, they jumped right on my hands. Did you see that? Luckily, I don't have any open tea or coffee for it to land in today. So there you go. That is the La Jolla color of the month. Isn't that gorgeous? Is that a featured item, Jason?
I have to check.
Okay. If it's not right now, it will be before too long. I know, isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous. So again, that's February 26th, color of the month. And then the last thing that I want to show is the most amazing little gift that I got here at the shop earlier this week. So I have a customer and her daughter. Her daughter is also a customer of mine. I'm afraid I can't remember her name. Pat is the mom, and her daughter is probably, I don't know, 20s maybe, early 20s, late teens. I don't know. I can't tell ages anymore. I'm too old. But her and her mom came in and they met Kingsley and they absolutely fell in love with Kingsley because, of course, he's amazing. But I know I'm a little biased. But they absolutely loved him. So earlier this week, when it was so cold out, they came walking in and she made this for Kingsley and I, this adorable little crocheted Kingsley. Isn't this so cute? I was flummoxed, like just totally surprised at the generosity of that young woman and how much that Kingsley made an impression on her that she wanted to make and recreate this cute little stuffy to give to us. Isn't it so cute? It is adorable. Looks just like him. He loves it. He would love to play with it, but I won't let him because he's too precious to play with and chew on. So make sure you check him out. Make sure you check him out next time you're in the shop if you're coming in and see how adorable this little stuffy of Kingsley is. I know. I love it. I love it. I was, like I said, I was just so shocked and surprised. I love it. I loved it. So thank you to Pat and your daughter. I want to say Autumn, but I don't know why I want to say that. I need to get her name so I can properly thank her. But isn't Kingsley adorable? I know, it's so cute. Okay, so those are the two items that I wanted to share with you guys before we really got into the meat and potatoes, as it is, of Finish Object February Bingo. Okay, so this is our third, is it our third year? It must be. I think it's our third year. Is it our third year or fourth year? Gosh, I don't remember. Anyway, this will be another year that we play Finish Object February Bingo. So we take the shortest month of the year. Yes, it is intentionally chosen to be the shortest month of the year. And we go through our whips and we try and finish things is the idea. So in order to incentivize you, I create a bingo card every year. And every year the squares are a little bit different. But each square will have something to do with finishing something. So some things on here are always going to be here, like weave in ends on an FO, on a finish object. Finish oldest whip will always be on here also. Because let me tell you, finishing your oldest whip in your pile really feels amazing. So that will always make it on here. Block something, because I know that many of you have piles of things that just need to be blocked in order to give them a check mark to call them finished. So some of these squares you will always see on here, and some of them are new. I try and switch things up a little bit every year. Anna says she thinks it's the fourth year. Oh man. It could be. Let's see. And Melinda said, I think, whoop, come back here. Where did everybody go? Maybe the 4th is I think it was still in Boston when it started. That might be the 4th. I'm trying to think of colors because every year I make the bingo board a different color. Anyway, last year we had the free space, and the first couple of times that we played Finish Object February, the free space was truly a free space. But I decided that was too easy. And so now it is still technically a free space, but now you have to make up your own square. So maybe you have something really specific about one of your whips that doesn't fit any of the other squares, and that can be your free square. So the way that you play, you go through your whip pile, and as you finish things, you write down the date that you finish them, and then you write down the item. Just write down the item. It can be the title, it can be red hat, it can be whatever you want to make a note of so that you can remember. And as you get bingos, so bingos will be vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and then there is a coverall prize. There is a coverall prize. Excuse me. So every time you get a bingo, you get a prize. So let's take a look. Now we're going to circle back to prizes because there's a couple of new squares that I think might deserve a little bit of explanation. Two things. Two that I want to go over. No, three. There's three that I want to go over. One is learn something new. Now, I try to keep these options as open-ended really as I can so that you can modify those or you can interpret these in a way that will fit whatever whips that you might have. So maybe you have a whip in your pile that you've reached a point and you don't know how to do the next thing. You don't know how to make brioche. You don't know how to Kitchener. You don't know how to make cables, etc., etc. You don't know how to do two-color crochet. Or you don't know how to weave an ends or something like that. That skill is something that you need in order to finish your whip. So learn something new is a new square for this year for Finish Object February Bingo. Another one that I have on here that I'm pretty excited about, the next square is called Sew Something. S-E-W. Sew Something. Now again, this is open-ended for your interpretation. I have a thing that needs to be seamed together. I have a project that needs to be seamed together. So it's still a knit project, but I need to use a sewing skill to sew it together. But perhaps you're a quilter or a bag maker or a clothing maker of some kind, and you have something in your whip pile that is not knit or crochet, but you would like to finish it. That would qualify here, right? Because you're sewing something, so that can qualify here. It doesn't have to be a knit or crochet project. Okay, so that's a new one for this year. A couple other new ones. I'm not gonna go through all the new ones, but the other one that I want to talk a little bit about today, specifics as far as specific squares go, is finish a charity object. This is another square that will never go away. It will always be on our card. Now, you, of course, can choose whatever method you would like, whatever object you would like to make your charitable object. Maybe you've had a hat in your whip pile that it needs to get done, but you don't like it anymore. Maybe you could finish it and you could donate it to somewhere. I have gone through, we have a couple of charitable organizations that we already work with if you need ideas. The first one that's been really popular, and it's my personal favorite, is knitting or crocheting or sewing baby hats to be donated to Sparrow Hospital, to the obstetrics unit there. So when I was pregnant with my twins, of course, there's always the risk is always higher that when you deliver twin babies, that they might be premature. So when I was pregnant, we did a little charity knitting drive, and we collected baby hats to take to the hospital when Jason and I went, so I could deliver those babies. So we ended up delivering, I think it was 2 giant garbage bags, like big bags that my mom and dad ended up bringing up to the hospital on the day that the girls were born, which is February 7th. So knitting baby hats during the month of February to donate to Sparrow is close to my heart. I always like to knit or crochet a few and get them donated. We have a contact with the nursery, and he can take those hats with him every time he goes in. So if you want to knit or crochet or sew baby hats to be delivered to the nursery at Sparrow, you're more than welcome to drop them off here, and we will make sure that they get taken to the nursery. So that one is always close to my heart. I always like to donate during the month of February. The second one that is new for us this year, I sat down with Amanda. She is the director of the Helping Hands Food Pantry here in Charlotte. And I sat down with her to talk about how we can help our local community for a couple of different occasions. One being Finish Object February. And she said anything that would keep people warm. So hats, scarves, mittens, cowls, blankets, any size from baby up to adult. And really, she said that we don't care, we're not picky about fiber content, color, anything like that. The only thing that she recommended was care instructions, just to make sure if it is a wool hat that the recipient knows how to care for the hat. But she said that it really doesn't matter very much. A lot of the clients that Helping Hands services are homeless or living in vehicles, so the opportunity to wash things very frequently is very low. So actually wool items, because they repel dirt and they repel smell and they are antibacterial already due to the nature of wool, is actually a good thing. So we're adding that on to our charitable organizations this year. So again, if you have any of those objects, you are welcome to bring them here to the Yarn Garden. I will have tags to have you fill out with fiber content and care instructions. And I am going to have a little spot if you want to put your name and a little note to let the people know that it was made for them and that there are people that care and want them to be warm. The really cool thing about Helping Hands Food Pantry is the clients that are served can actually come in and they have choices. So they can come in and they can pick the items that they or their family really need or want. If there's a family that doesn't like mac and cheese, they don't have to get a box of mac and cheese. They can choose something different. If they have a kid that loves the color pink, then they can grab a pink hat for that kid. You know, they're able to go in and have some control over what they're given, which I love. I think that's very dignifying, and I think it's a cool feature of the Helping Hands Food Pantry here in Charlotte. So those are just a couple of things that we are personally involved in here. So again, baby hats for the nursery at Sparrow, or anything that would keep a person warm. We will make sure gets to our local food pantry here in Charlotte. You do not have to participate in either of those items. If you have a different idea, you have a different charity that you would like to participate in. Perhaps you'd like to make a red hat and send that out to protesters. Of course, that would count as one of your charity objects. I have a friend, Jamie, who is creating a beautiful Afghan for the Knit for Food knit-a-thon that happens in April, and she's going to auction that off to the highest bidder. So Jamie, if you happen to finish your Marguerite blanket during the month of February, that would count as your charity object. So if you are thinking about participating in the Knit for Food knit-a-thon and you would like to create an item like Jamie is, that could count as your charity object also. Again, I am not the knitting police or crocheting police or bingo police, right? So it is really up to you and your interpretations on filling out these squares. I am not going to go in and demand to see all of the things that you have finished or see proof of anything. If you have it written down here and noted and you feel comfortable that, calling it finished, then I trust you. So I will happily answer questions, but most of the time my answer is, I am not the bingo police. That's usually how I start things. But I am also happy to explain the intent behind the squares if that helps. I know there are rule followers, and I know there are people that like to interpret loosely. And again, the whole idea here is to finish things in our WIP pile. So keep that in mind as we are, as you're starting to look at squares and starting to plan out your card. Okay, so that's enough about individual squares. Let's talk about rules to play. So rules to play, this will be on the back of your bingo card. You'll want to fill out your name, your email address, and your shipping address, especially if you have won prizes, so we can make sure we get your prizes to you. Okay, first thing, the bingo square, there is a fee, there is a cost to download the card. It is $5. So that money, for the most part, goes towards paying for prizes and shipping for prizes. So $5 to participate in Finish Object February Bingo. The card will be for sale on our website on February 1st. So that is a Sunday. So on February 1st, does that mean midnight? It might. So depending on how anxious you are to get started on Finish Object February Bingo, it will be available on February 1st. February 1st. Okay, so the first rule to play. Mark off a square by filling in the date and name of the item in the box. Squares must be earned during the month of February. So my January sock that I finished for Natalie, that sock does not count for any bingo squares because I finished it before the start of February. A finished object can count for up to 2 different squares. So for example, you could finish a garment and you could weave in ends of a sweater, and that could count for 2 of your boxes, and they may have just told you 2 more boxes. But keep that in mind. One finished object, one sock that you finish, can count for 2 squares. Create your own bingo square to mark off the free space square. We already talked about that. If you get a bingo during the month, show us at YG to pick out a fun little prize. You can, of course, get more than 1 bingo during the month. There is an extra special prize for a coverall bingo. A bingo is 5 spaces in a row, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. Turn in your bingo card at the end of the month with at least 5 boxes marked off. They don't have to be a bingo, just any 5 boxes. Yes, the free space counts to be entered in for prizes. So this is different than the bingo prizes, which I'll show you. Any 5 squares, you can turn it in at the end of the month, and the following Friday, so our Feature Friday live video on March 7th, we do a drawing. So everybody that turned in their card that had at least 5 bingos gets put into a spinning wheel of prizes, and we have a ton of prizes that we've picked that have been donated from fellow local business owners. So that is totally, that whole hour is basically me drawing names of people that have won prizes. And then we will ship those or hold them for you for pickup. We do need to have your bingo card turned in by email only, not by Facebook Messenger or anything else. It's got to be turned in by email. The email's on there. Or in store. So you can physically hand me your card, or you can email me the finished card by March 4th to qualify for prizes. Let's see, Finished Object February Bingo will run for the entire month of February 2026. And the only other caveat to qualify for any prizes, our shop records must show that you did purchase a bingo card this year in order to qualify to get prizes. So you guys want to see the prizes? Let's see, let's check out our prizes. Okay, so first prize, your first bingo prize is a stitch marker from Jason. One side has our little small Yarn Garden vine logo, and the other side, it says 2026 Finish Object February Bingo Winner. Bingo Winner. So this is when you get your first bingo. This is your first bingo prize. So bingo number 1 gets you this prize. I'm really excited for the stickers. Okay. When I first started this, I was really shocked and rather amused at what you guys would do to get stickers. So we're still carrying on that tradition of sticker prizes for the next 4 bingos. So the first 5 bingos, you get an assigned prize, okay? Let's see. Bingo number 2 is a sticker that says Certified Bingo Winner. So this is bingo number 2, you get Certified Bingo Winner. That is sticker number 2. All right. Sticker number 3 says Whip Wrangler. Whip Wrangler. So I tried to kind of design this one with the idea of it being like a Girl or Boy Scout badge. So it kind of looks like something you would sew onto your sash if you were a boy or a Girl Scout. So Whip Wrangler. So it shows a ball of yarn with a little cowboy hat. Whip Wrangler. So that's if you get third bingo. That's bingo prize number 3. All right. Bingo prize number 4 is probably my favorite. And I debated on whether it should be a sticker or not, but I decided that I wanted it to be. So bingo prize number 1, 2, 3. This is number 4. If you get 4 bingos, this is your sticker prize. If you don't know, this is Kingsley in a knit sweater. Isn't it so cute? I will plaster all of my water bottles with all of these leftover stickers. So this is Kingsley in a sticker in a hand knit sweater. This is if you get 4 bingos. This is your 4th prize, 4th sticker prize. And then the last sticker prize is a little cheeky. It is Whips and Chains Excite Me. Whips and Chains Excite Me. So this is 5th bingo prize. This is our 5th bingo prize. And then anything from your 6th bingo on up to your 12th bingo will be some combination of gift certificate, bingo bucks, possibly money off a beverage at our favorite coffee shop, some sort of little gift certificate of some kind for the following bingo prizes after that. And then, depending on the number and quantity of coveralls, will determine the price. Last year, we had 10. Last year, we had 10 coveralls. I did my best to make the card a little harder this year to see if I could really challenge those of you that are gunning for a coverall. So we shall see. We shall see how many coveralls we get this year. And your prize we'll figure out when we get there. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Rachel. I know, Pat. Love Kingsley in the sweater. Got to get that sticker. I know. I was so happy. Everybody that I asked, because I was like, is this too selfish to make a sticker of my own dog as a prize? Everyone I asked was like, no, we want it. So I did it. I love it. So those are the prizes. Again, those are the specific prizes if you get bingos. So you get your vertical, horizontal, or diagonal squares. And again, remember, you don't have to get a bingo to get into the prize drawings at the end. You just have to accomplish 5 squares. So 2 different opportunities for prizes from Finish Object February Bingo. All right, so let's see. I am going on my list here that I wrote down. We talked about how to turn in your card. We got that. Okay. I'm gonna tell you another square. There's another square on here. This is another one that will always be on. This will always be on the bingo card, and that is attend a class or event at Yarn Garden during the month of February. So this year we have a full slate of classes and events for you that I'm super excited about. Of course, we have our two classics that we will always have. The first is the Frog Party. That is coming up next Saturday, the 7th. The Frog Party is where we will be gathering up in the dye studio upstairs, and we will be ripping out whips that no longer bring us joy. So you've got from now until next Saturday to get your whip piles organized and figure out what do you want to get rid of. Or here's another great function for the Frog Party. Maybe you want to have a little bit of a change of plans. Maybe you thought you wanted to frog it, but maybe you could turn it into something else. There may or may not be another square for that. Then this is a great opportunity to kind of talk with other makers and brainstorm ideas on what to change it into. So that's the Frog Party. That is on February 7th. All of these are events and classes that you need to sign up for on the website. So yarngardenmichigan.com. You'll scroll down a little bit and you'll see our classes tab. You can click on that and you'll see all of the classes to sign up for. Rachel, yes, the cards will be released on February 1st. On February 1st. Probably pretty close to midnight on February 1st. So that's the first party that we will always have, is the Frog Party. The second one that we will always have is the Whip Workday. The Whip Workday. This year's Whip Workday is on February 21st. So that will give you another week afterwards to continue finishing your whips. So Whip Workday is a Saturday, and again, we gather up in the dye studio. Karen Collins and I are on hand to help with any issues that have come up during your whip rummaging. So if there was something new that you needed to learn to finish a project, this is a good opportunity. If you have a problem needing to figure out how to work through something, if you want to steek something and you need people to support you in that, also anything that you need, Karen and I are on hand during that time to help you with that, give you private lessons during that time. Or it's an opportunity to just sit and hang out with your fellow makers and really continue pushing through your whip pile. So it's just a day to gather, get help if you need it, otherwise just hang out and celebrate Finished Object February together. So again, that's Whip Workday. This year it will be on February 21st. So those are our two standard events that always happen during bingo month. The other three, these are newly added for this year. The next one that I'm really excited about this one. Karen is teaching the next two. This one is called Love Your Finished Objects. That class is taking place on February 14th, so Valentine's Day, but during the day, so it won't interfere with any plans that you might have. Love Your Finished Objects. So this is a class that Karen will go through. Once you've woven in ends, cast off, finish the last stitch, what do you do after? So how to wash and block it, then how to darn it, how to fix a snag or a hole in your project, finishing visible mending techniques or hidden mending techniques. All sorts of things that might happen to your lovely finished objects after they're done. So this will be an opportunity to say you have socks that need to be darned. You're gonna learn how to darn those socks. So it's a great opportunity to learn how to take care of the things that you've already made and love, and make sure that they continue to stay in your rotation. So that's Love Your Finished Objects on the 14th.
No, you won't.
The next one is the Ophelia Beanie, and that is on Thursday evening, February 26th. This is another class that's going to be taught by Karen. Lots of really awesome knitting techniques included in this class, and there'll be more details that we share later, but the Ophelia Beanie is the pattern that we will be using, Karen will be using during that class. So you can look it up on Ravelry, or wait for show notes post to come out and you can check out the link on Ravelry there for the Ophelia Beanie. And there will be more information coming out. That's towards the end of the month, so we'll talk a little bit more We'll talk a little bit more about the Ophelia beanie. And then finally, for my crocheters, Tammy is teaching the Great Granny Square Adventure. Whoop, excuse me, table moved. Sorry, guys. Got the big wobble there. So the Great Granny Square Adventure. This is happening on the last day of February, February 28th. There we go. And Tammy is going to go through and teach us all sorts of awesome things about Granny Squares. So she's going to use the Granny Square card deck, and we're going to learn all about the charts that are used, the chart maps that are used a lot in crocheting, and how to read them, and then what to do with those squares once we've created them. So make sure that you check that out, the Great Granny Square Adventure. There may or may not be a make-along that is a result of a class like this. Maybe another little hint there. Sam says, Ophelia named after the character or the Taylor Swift song? I suspect it's the character because I think it came out before Taylor's last album, but I can't swear to that. We will have the finished sample in here next week, so we'll be able to see more details about the hat during Feature Friday next week. So those are classes that you can sign up and take during the month of February. And then we also have a trunk show with twice sheared sheep that will be happening from February 20th to February 27th. February 20th to February 27th. And that is, Twice Sheared Sheep has all sorts of really amazing notions, and I've asked them to emphasize their organizational tools. So lots of their tins, lots of their bags, and lots of other cool tools and things that Twice Sheared Sheep creates to show off. So that, the 20th, is a Friday, so I will be doing a box opening during that Feature Friday with all of the Twice Sheared Sheep amazing things that I'm just going to keep pulling out of boxes, and it's going to be super fun. So again, that is going to be in the shop from the 20th to the 27th. 20th to the 27th. Sunny, you had a question about experience. I'll have to refer back to the class notes. I don't have it on hand for me. You can look on the class description there also and see what Tammy recommends for experience levels. It's a great question, Anna. She's asking about any Zoom classes. I don't think at this moment. We may be able to make the frog party have a virtual option. Can you send that to me? Send that question to me as a private message, Anna, so that I can have a reference to refer back to that. I would appreciate that. Mindy says I may be able to participate in the Granny Square class. Mindy, you could probably teach the Granny Square class. So yes, crocheters and knitters are welcome at the frog party, of course, and the Love Your Finished Objects class, and the whip work day. Just the Ophelia beanie and Great Granny Square is craft specific. So there we have it. Classes and events that will be happening during Finished Object February. I forgot to put my watch on this morning, so I keep looking to see how much time I have. All right, I have 10 minutes. All right, if you have any any questions that you can think of about Finished Object February bingo, plop them in the comments down below, and I'll keep an eye out while I go through my own personal whip pile, so you guys can see what I'm dealing with for the month of February. So let's see. The first thing I have here, this is, you can see I have my Waiting for February, Finished Object February tag here, because this is called Cozy Walk. It is knit out of Piuma cashmere from Lane's de Nord, and this is one ball so far, and I don't have any more of this color. So I'm unsure what I'm going to end up doing. I need to look and see if I can order more of this color, and if I can, do I really want to knit 5 more balls of it into this project? Or perhaps this will just be a small little sample seedling idea of what you can create and what lace looks like with a fuzzy type of yarn. I apologize if you hear Kingsley with his loudest toy that he can possibly find crunching all over under my feet. He's all right. But of course, he's literally right here with the loudest, clunkiest toy that he could find. You've already seen my February sock and the literally scarf. Both of those will be finished during the month. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Jason added the link. I have a pair of adventure socks, old adventure socks. Well, not old. I shouldn't say old. I have a second adventure sock that I only have to do the toe on, and then I have a finished pair. So that will compete as far as squares go with my February sock, but that is so close to being done that it would be silly not to finish it during this month. So that will be getting, that will be crossing off something, some sort of square, maybe just weaving in ends, but we shall see. So that is one thing. I have my juniper cowl that I was crocheting with my Advent kit. That needs to be finished, so this will be my crochet project. One of my crochet projects that I finish. I don't have too much more. I think I just have 3 colors. I just have 3 colors to finish that, so that will be getting completed during the month of February. Let's see, what else do I have? What is in here? I think this is my gnome. This is the Advent gnome. This is Nan-Dad the gnome. This is as far as I've gotten. Although I think I have some pieces and parts in here somewhere, maybe some arms or something. But I will be finishing him. I will be finishing Nan-Dad the gnome. Unsure exactly what squares that will knock off for me, but something for sure. I have, this one might be a stretch. This is going to be the last thing that I probably work on because it's a lot. Although maybe once I look at it, it maybe won't be a lot. But anyway, this
I'll
is...
finish it up for you.
You're going to finish this one
run
up for
out
me?
of time.
If I run out of time. Jason, you heard it. Jason's going to finish this one up for me.
Yeah, I got some things in the garage I could probably touch it up with.
So on some shop rags, make it long enough?
Yeah, a couple staples.
You can sew.
Yeah, a couple staples. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even remember the name of this sweater. It's from Wool and Pine. I'm knitting it using my Dragon Scales colorway. We'll see. It doesn't have sleeves. So the sleeves are finished. The neck band is finished. Like there's no additional finishing. I just have to knit the body. So that will be the last thing that I work on. And February 28th will determine how long a sweater it is.
Oh yeah, plenty of time.
Perhaps it will be a crop top. You never know. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't finish it just to mark off the square, really, because I love the sweater and I do want to finish it. But I know that because it's fingering weight yarn, it will take some time. And I have all of these other things that I want to finish first. So some of these are the decisions that we have to make, right? How badly do I want to finish these bigger objects? Or do I want to finish up all of these smaller projects so then maybe in March I can finish something like this? We shall see. Something like that, Casey. Yeah. Soft current tea? That sounds right. I think that's right. Jason Mom says, we know that hell is frozen over if Jason says he'll finish it for you. You haven't been in Michigan lately. Hell has frozen over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's been documented.
That's been documented. Lucy says that she thinks you can do it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is, this is likely going to be a project that gets ripped out at the frog party. This was the start of my Marguerite blanket that I started. I don't even know when everybody was making these. It was in 2025, early in 2025. And I have decided that 2-color crochet like this is not my cup of tea. I did not enjoy it. And I don't want to finish this. So I have some decisions to make. I only have these 4 motifs done. I may see if there's a way I could like make a pillow out of them. I don't know. We'll see. Or it may all just get ripped out. We shall see. But I will not be finishing the Marguerite blanket. I did not enjoy it. It has nothing to do with the project. There were many, many, many of my friends that made beautiful blankets, and we're going to see more of them during Finish Object February, because I know that's a goal for lots of people, is to finish their blankets during February. Mine will not be finished. It will be repurposed or ripped out. Donate it to one of the gnomes. Mindy says I could turn them into little bags. Yep.
Yeah.
Donate it to one of the gnomes. Yep. What was Pam said? Table runner. Yep. But see, all of those things require more time. And I don't know how much more time I really want to devote to it. I feel like if I just disassemble the squares, I can finish them off and I can just sew 2 circles together and have 2 pillows. I would be really happy with that, and then I wouldn't have to devote really much more time to it. So that might qualify for a couple of my, a couple squares, but it will not be finished. It will not be done. I hate it. And I invite you guys to use that same idea with any of your projects that you come across in your WIP pile and you go, ugh, no, I hate this. I do not want to finish this. What was I thinking? Rip it out, repurpose it, figure something else out. All right, I have 2 more projects that I found today that I have to make a decision about. These socks are Jason's socks that I knit for him for our wedding. How many years ago?
That's complicated.
That's complicated. We got married in 2010, so 16 years this fall. So 15, these socks are 15 years old. They have seen many Finish Object Februaries are ready to be darned. You can see major darning took place. I don't remember if this was last year, but I actually knit patches. I knit new patches and sewed over the ball of the foot because apparently Jason, well, he is a runner, so it makes sense that he's always has his weight on the balls of his feet. So that's where he tends to wear out his socks. So both socks already have big patches on the balls of the feet. I have already reinforced the heel here once. And now he was wearing them earlier this fall, and I saw this big giant hole, and the stitches have dropped way back into this cable. So I have that to darn. And then I noticed when I was gathering these up to bring today, the other sock has a hole right here. The other sock has a hole right here. So I have a decision to make. And that is, at what point do we let go of something?
Oh, I can just keep wearing them. That's fine.
Jason says he can just keep wearing them. I say no. Nope, you cannot wear socks with holes in them. I cannot allow that to happen. So they either need to be darned again, or we might have to let them go.
Well, if you don't have time, Ninny will fix them for me.
Did you hear that, Mom? Jason says if I don't have time, Ninny would fix them for me. Oh, she already responded. Put them in your wedding memory box. I don't have a wedding memory box. An alternative that I did think of, because of where the holes are for the most part, I could cut the feet off of both of these, and I could re-knit feet and preserve the legs where most of the beautiful cables are, and I could do that.
Yep.
Jason says no.
He
might learn how to darn socks then.
That's too much work.
So this remains to be seen if this will be my darning project, or if we are going to let these go. We shall see what happens. But that was, Linda says you cannot let the wedding socks go. Dana says, oh my gosh, they need fixed. Adair says, for me, darning is saying, darn it, on my way to the garbage. Beth is voting that I need to fix them. Lucy's offering to fix them. All right, we've got some options. I wouldn't let them get thrown away, you guys. They'll get fixed. Okay, and this is probably my oldest WIP. There's still a couple of cubby spaces in my house that I have not peered into lately, where some projects could be hiding. But I do believe that this is my oldest WIP. And this is just a giant granny square that the yarn that I've used so far is Silk Garden from Noro. Silk Garden from Noro. And I've been taking the balls off the shelf like orphans. So the last skein or two of a color, I'll snag them and I will just put them around the outside of this square. So again, this and my, I think you're right, Karen, now that you say that, I think the soft current tea, I think that's the right name. Those two items will be these two items will be the last things that I work on for the month to finish. So maybe I'll get my oldest whip square, we'll see. And I get to decide how big this is because I'm just making it up as I go. So maybe it will be Kingsley's blanket for the table, the chair back here. So again, that's another object for my whip pile. Let's see. Sherry said that I should darn it with a red heart. I do love that idea. The one sock that has that little tiny hole, I think that could be fixed easily with a visible mending technique, like a little embroidered heart or something. Doreen says I could put felt bottoms on the bottoms of the slippers. It's a good idea too. I like it. These are all, see, this is what I love this is what I love the frog party for and the whip work day for, because we can brainstorm together on how we might be able to finish these projects, alter or change an object to create something new, like I'm going to do with my Marguerite blanket. So if you can get to one of those events, it really is fun to gather together with your community and finish a couple of things. Let's see, Beth is sharing that I found a whip that's at least 15 years old. I love it. Last year, Beth, I finished my oldest whip that was probably older than that. And that felt really good. Like, it felt really good. It ended up, that particular object, I decided I couldn't take the time to finish it properly the way it was written. It was a big giant colorwork shawl that was knit in the round, and I needed to steek it once I got there, and the yarn was so old, the yarn designer's not even around anymore. There was no revenue tied to it for me from the yarn garden, so it was hard for me to justify the time that it would have taken to finish it. So I ended up just saying, okay, it's done, I'm gonna bind it off. It's not big enough really to be a shawl. But it's a wall piece, a decorative piece now, and it's off my needles, and that felt really good too. So lots of ideas on how to finish things. So for the month of February, I'll be putting out different posts asking how you're accomplishing some of these squares, because again, I always love to see what other people are doing, how other people are interpreting squares, and that always helps to inspire other people as well. So again, those posts will start next week. The first one will be share your whip pile. And again, remember, there's no judgment here. We all have whip piles of some sort. So absolutely no judgment. We love to see what everybody else has going. So I'll ask you to share your whip pile. Sometime next week we'll get that post put up. And again, we'll ask for input from you guys during the month of February on other things. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you're planning to join us. And if you have any questions about Finish Object February Bingo, I'm happy to answer them for you. And I can't wait to start playing. So again, the bingo card will be available on Sunday, February 1st. And I probably will wait until midnight. I'll be up until midnight, and I will hit go on midnight, February 1st, so that you guys can get a head start if you want to. And we'll keep Jason awake all night with the cha-chings coming in, and that'll be funny. And I think that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you are watching the replay, thank you for taking the time to come hang out with me during a different time. And if you're catching us over on YouTube, catching the replay over there, thank you for finding us, and I hope that you might consider coming over to Facebook and giving us a follow over there as well. All right, guys, have a fabulous weekend. Stay warm if you're somewhere cold, and I hope you get some stitching done. And I can't wait to start giving out bingo prizes. Have a great weekend.